Why Not? A queer podcast.
Thank you to our sponsor, Pineapple Healthcare, an award-winning primary care clinic right here in Orlando.
Pineapple Healthcare offers mental health counseling, HIV, STI testing and treatment, and specializes in care for the LGBTQ plus community.
Open Monday through Saturday. Call today at 407-553-6336 and schedule your appointment.
Pineapple Healthcare. Better together.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to Wine.
Why Not? A queer podcast.
Episode 84. Well, look at that. We're well into the 80s. Reagan's going for his second term.
Did you do that thing? Did you look up things that are like, what? This is what was going on in 84?
I didn't. However, off the top of my head, I do know Nightmare on Elm Street premiered in 1984. The election between I want to say Mondale and Reagan. Reagan going for his second term.
Oh, I think Clinton would have been 88.
No, Clinton was 92.
Oh, was he?
George H.W. Bush
His
was
first
88.
one? Oh, okay.
And Reagan ran in 80 and 84.
When Doves Cry was the and Let's Go Crazy. Those came out that year.
I believe Like a Virgin also is 1984. Good year for music.
Yes.
No. I mean, it's no Bee Gees, but I enjoy it.
Now I'm going to learn how to sing When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, and Like a Virgin as if I were Barry Gibb.
I look forward to hearing that.
And Barry Gibb, I know you're listening. I'm a fan. I know that those are only words.
I too know who you are, Barry Gibb.
Do you know, like, there's so much in TV, like, lately about people making fun of the way people laugh and, like, they cackle and they hate it, right?
Yes.
It was on Big Brother.
I love a good cackle.
And then some people don't like Kamala's.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I feel attacked because I have a cackle. It's either like a loud burst of ha,
yeah,
or I cackle.
Nothing wrong with a cackle. It comes from deep down.
Yeah.
It's a good,
Hey,
wholesome,
it means something funny happened.
primal laugh.
Yeah, it means like somebody told a good joke or somebody fell.
For fell? Yeah, I guess. If you find others pain
You know, that's one of
funny.
my favorite episodes of Modern Family, when Mitchell keeps laughing at Cam because he fell in the pool. He's like, oh, the fat guy fell in the pool.
Cam has a good laugh, too.
Yeah.
I like his laugh.
Good times.
What other laughs do you like? Oh, wait, that's not why we're here.
Welcome to Laugh, Laugh,
Welcome
Not.
to What Laughs Do
Where
We Like?
we laugh and you don't. Did you do anything interesting this week, or we just jump right in? Let's just jump right in.
I had a really, really fun, good week.
Oh, good.
Packed full of stuff.
Do tell.
Well, first we did a couple of things together. I'll save those. I'll talk about what I did separately, and then we'll talk
what you did. I'll talk about what I did,
and
then
then
we'll
we'll
merge.
I took an extra long, it was Labor Day weekend this past weekend. I took an extra long weekend, and me and Chris went down to Miami Beach. I have never been to Miami Beach before. The furthest south I've made it in the state was Fort Lauderdale. About 15 years ago, I went to a friend's wedding, but we drove down for the wedding and then we drove right back up. So didn't even get to see anything down there. So we spent the weekend in Miami Beach.
I enjoy Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
I haven't spent a lot of time. Well, Miami Beach, is that like South Beach? It's all connected? It's right there? I mean, all the beaches are connected,
I don't know.
aren't they?
We were on an island that's connected by bridges. That is Miami Beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what South Beach is. I honestly, until you just said that, I thought South Beach was in California, but I'm wrong.
No, like the Birdcage, South
Yeah.
Beach. Yeah, that's all in
Is that?
Miami.
That's in South Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
It's
just
all
always heard
Miami.
it called Miami Beach, but I don't know the separate beach names.
I think it's just like the difference between like they're right next to each other. Maybe
It's
I don't
not a
know.
very big.
If you're a geography major, or
It's not me, but it was a beautiful beach.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the most beautiful, gorgeous men I've ever seen in my life, running up and down that boardwalk in shorts and nothing else. I mean, like movie quality, gorgeous men. It was fabulous. It was amazing. But we stayed.
Got a lot
right
of
on
reading
the,
done, did you?
Huh?
Got a lot of reading done.
I actually did. up and down, looking at my book, looking at the scene. But spent the entire weekend basically sitting on the beach, reading a book. I actually brought the book because it is a fantastic book, and it is part of a series that I find very interesting. But they're called remixes, and it is classic books that are remixed, changing up genders and race and status and all that stuff. And I was reading a Pride and Prejudice remake where the main character is Oliver, a closeted transgender person who falls for Mr. Darcy, and it is fabulous.
Oh,
It is an amazing, wonderful book. You should read it. We'll talk about it on the podcast.
I think they should make movies out of these.
They should. But they have like a whole series. I think it's written here in the front. But like a Treasure Island remix, Little Women. I assume all the Little Women are little men. I don't know. I didn't pick up that one. Robin Hood, Wuthering Heights, a bunch of classic books. But really, really, really enjoyed that one. And it's written by a transgender author, and it's really, really well done.
Well, you should find one that's super gay.
This one's pretty gay.
Yes, it's pretty gay. And that is on Audible, and we'll do it.
I'll check for Audible. These might be on Audible, but I'll check. But wonderful book. So sat on the beach reading that, watching all the men go by. We stayed in, it's not Airbnb, but it's like Airbnb. It's Verbo. Yes. Which Chris uses because he says he's had better luck with that than Airbnb. He's had some bad Airbnb experiences. I can say that because they're not a sponsor. But
did he get some low ratings?
No. It was just some of the places he had done were not, they were not as they were described in the listing. So he's had a lot of luck with Verbo. So stayed in the Carlisle right on Miami Beach, which is above the Birdcage Cafe, which sounds like, oh my God, it's like from the movie Birdcage. It's only called the Birdcage. There's no drag shows. It's not.
Yeah, but
like
it's a restaurant.
The club, but it's a cafe.
Is it like I think it's like the outside of it. I think it's called that because they use the outside of it for the film.
Possibly.
In the beginning when it comes down like that,
yes.
and it goes on the water and comes up, that's where it comes up.
Well, that's where we stayed.
Right.
And it was wonderful. It was just very relaxing, very chill weekend for me. He was there for a circuit party. I was there just to bum around and be lazy. Had an amazing Cuban sandwich and some tamales at Havana 1957, which is fabulous. The last night there, I ordered some redhead pizza. Never had redhead pizza, and it was fantastic. All the food was amazing. Men amazing. Beach amazing. Everything was amazing. It was a great weekend.
Was it the devil's pizza?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. The redhead people get made fun of. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't look it now because age has set in and grayed me, but I was born and spent most of my life as a ginger. And we are fine people.
Is that
we
why?
are wonderful
That's why
people.
you were able to eat it.
Yes, I'm sure that's what it was like because I have ginger blood. I was able to eat the pizza
from when you were younger.
But it was such a great weekend, very lax. We walked around the island. Everybody was super friendly, which is surprising to me, pleasantly surprising, because I had heard so many stories about how people in Miami are very snooty, and how they're all, they stick to themselves and they only like pretty people. And I did not look like any of those men on the beach. And everyone was super friendly, and held doors open and said hello and super nice. So great weekend.
Oh,
if you get a chance to go down there, it is a wonderful way to relax and to get away from the stresses of real life.
I have had a gun pulled on me twice in my life. And one of them, I was 5. And
Go on.
So I was 5 years old and my brother wanted to sneak out of the house and go see his girlfriend. And we lived in Houston, Texas. And so I went with him. And it was like, 2 a.m. and we walked down these railroad tracks to go to her house. Well, her father didn't like it. So he chased us down the street with a gun.
Oh, wow.
And then the other time was driving through Miami.
Really?
Yeah. I was on my way to cover...
Girl's father again?
Yes. He finally found me. No, we're going to cover a Pride event, and some guy was just driving like crazy and then cut me off and then went next to me and slowed down and pulled a gun on me.
Oh, I've had a gun pulled on me once in my life, and it was on I-4 coming out of Polk County. And I accidentally cut this guy off and was screaming at me to pull over. And I was like, no, thank you. And then he pointed a gun at me like that was going to make me pull over. So I called the cops, and the cops were 911 was just like, Has he tried to hit you? I was like, no. He's just following behind me. He waved the gun at me. And they're like, okay. What is he doing now? And I was like, oh, he's getting off on this exit. Oh, okay. So he's leaving you alone. Do you want us to do anything about it? I'm like, no, cops. Stay where you are. Everything's fine. He just wrote my license plate number down and took off on his exit. He'll find me someday.
I think that we all have this impression that policing works like it does in television and the movies, and it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Not
in
at
the
all.
movies, Detective Benson from Law and Order SVU, she cares. Cops in Polk County, they did not care.
So listen, we've got this security camera in our backyard that looks in the alley behind our backyard, and it's basically because the only reason we put it there, like we're gonna do anything about it, we just got so annoyed with people not throwing their trash in the big trash can that we put a camera out there to see who's doing it, so that if we see them back there, we can just be like, listen, goes in the big can, not on the ground, not all around it, because it's a mess back there. So we put that up there, and since we did, the trash is good. But we're catching all kinds of things. Like yesterday, our Monday, Dylan was over here in Orlando, and we were hanging out, and he comes up to me and he's like, we just got a drug deal in the back alley, and we watched it. There were two people who went and sat right in front of the camera. This is a big sign that says surveillance camera, and the camera's right above it. And they just sat there and started smoking crack.
All right.
So but there was this alleged assault that happened in the alley. So the cops came over and they're like, we see you have a camera, can we look at, did you notice anything, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, well, we've got two people smoking crack. And they were like, okay, let me see it. So we show it to him and he goes, oh, that's the alleged victim. I guess that she was high. Okay, thanks. And that was the end of that. I was like, can you clear it out? Like,
interesting.
Can you just go and tell everybody to leave?
Some people have very lucrative TikTok accounts of just security film footage. You should really start a TikTok.
100% that's going to happen now.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking millions of views. I, being one who, if I wake up early, sometimes I'll wake up like at 4:35 on the clock and have to pee because I'm an old man now. I will lay in bed for like an hour and just scroll. And for some reason at that hour, all TikTok wants to show me is surveillance footage and Karen videos. It's hilarious.
I could get lost in a Karen cycle.
Oh, yeah.
And I get so angry. It boils my blood.
Yes. I'm like, what are you doing? It's 5:30. You don't know these people. Put your phone down and go to bed. But I will get myself so hyped and worked up at how much I hate these people that I can't go back to bed.
I get so angry.
Yeah.
And especially the ones that stand in front of people's cars and think that they don't belong in their neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Oh, makes you. I'm angry right now.
I
just
yell at my
about
phone, and I don't condone violence, and I don't believe anybody deserves to die. But at 5:30 in the morning, I yell at my phone. It's fine. Run her over. No one will blame you. Run her over.
I mean, can you use some sort of stand your ground law or say, I felt I was being attacked and my life was in danger, so I had to get out of there?
I'm sure if you're in a certain state and you're a certain color, that'll work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure these are all the wrong states, and and not the favorable skin tone for the police, So it's.
Well, we're doing a lot of police bashing in this episode.
No, I don't. I know, right? This is where they come knock.
We are so getting pulled over when we leave.
They come knocking down the door. Did I ever tell you that I did a radio show in college, and it was called the Putz and Moron Show? It was kind of cute because we didn't have a name, and my roommate and I used to call each other.
Were you the Putz or the Moron?
I was the Putz, and so we didn't come up with a name yet, and we were going on air. A friend of ours was the station manager, and he was like, "You guys got a minute?" And we just sat down, and we're in different rooms, but we're looking at each other through glass, and we're just like, "What are we gonna do?" And he's like, "Putz," and I was like, "Moron," and then we're like, "There you go, Putz and Moron Show." But we just talked about anything and everything. It was Southern Baptist College in the '90s, the mid '90s. And he was talking about taking this date to this dance. And I was like, well, I'm single, so if there are any eligible bachelors out there that want to go on a date, just let me know. And we're having this conversation. And then the cops show up. And he's like, I've been listening to your station. We're like, okay. And he looks at me and he goes, you talk a lot. Y'all might want to consider playing some music.
Oh, my.
And then he left. He became the subject of our talking a lot right after that. So that's interesting.
Interesting. I don't know if you watch How I Met Your Mother, but you're a total Ted Mosby.
I don't like the way you're laughing after you said that. Is this a bad thing?
No,
Which
it's a
one is
good
he?
show. I love this show.
Is he the lead?
He is. He's the
Oh,
lead.
sweet.
Yeah. You should watch a few episodes. You're
Look,
a total
that
dead
tells you just how competitive I am. Is he the lead character? Because I don't want to be some.
He's like.
Why are you laughing? Like, no, you're both laughing so hard. Like,
In
oh, he
comparative,
totally
he's
is.
like the Ross. The way Ross is
Oh.
on Friends, he's like the Ross on How I Met Your Mother. But he was. He had a radio show in college.
I'm gonna come up with a theory that all of the Friends characters are. Every person is that person at one stage in their life. Like you start off as a Joey and you work your way up, and you're a Phoebe and then a Chandler and then a Monica, and you end up a Ross. Everyone ends up a Ross. I don't know.
I'm totally a Ross now. I own that. I have turned into a Ross.
It's happening.
I used to be a Joey and a Chandler. There was a period where I was a Monica, and I didn't like people messing up things. But I've outgrown that, and I was like, I don't care. As long as it's not dirty. I don't mind it being lived in, but I don't want anything filthy.
I've got Monica's competitiveness, or I used to have that. I certainly went through my Chandler phase. That was my drinking phase. No relation to what happened to him in real life, but just everything was a joke. Made fun of everything.
I went through a Phoebe phase where I was homeless for a bit. When I first moved here, I just going house to house until they were like, "Have you started looking for an apartment yet?" I was like, "Yeah, I will."
Oh, that's good times.
Yeah,
good times.
But other than that, we did. Oh, I brought visual aids. We went to the EPCOT Food and Wine Festival.
Are we doing that now?
Oh yeah. Did you want to? Oh, let's do. Didn't you say we'll do this and
I
then
said
we'll do
you and then we'll do me and then we'll do both.
Oh, okay. How was your weekend?
Well, just because, like, once we talk about those things, then it's like, what do I have to say about anything? Was that was your thing?
That was my week.
That was your week?
For now. How was your week?
It was great. I went to the Food and Wine Festival. It was good.
Yeah.
We had... Here's some things that I did that are sort of ancillary. I like to tell you these things because we don't talk all the time now that we do this podcast, because I don't want to tell you everything. But I do want to tell you I watched 2 movies that I haven't seen over the weekend. I don't know how I fit this into my schedule, but I watched Horrible Bosses, which I had never seen.
You never? Oh, good movie.
Yeah, it is, but it's also very dark.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't expect it to be that dark. Like, I was thinking while they were going to kill these people... I was thinking they're actually going to kill these people.
Yeah.
Like it just seemed weird to me. So I'm glad that when they got to it, they were.
Did you watch the sequel?
I haven't watched that yet.
It's not as good as the first.
I'm guessing Kevin Spacey's not in the second one.
No, he's not. I can't remember if Colin Farrell shows up, but
How
Kevin
can he be in the
Spacey
second
isn't.
one? Colin Farrell dies in the first one.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he's not in the second
I
one.
think
then.
Jennifer Aniston is.
Jennifer Aniston is in the sequel,
I mean,
the main guys are in the sequel.
Not funny at all to say. I mean, like, sexual harassment is not funny.
No, but she
she's
is hilarious in that movie.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, that kind of kicked off those kind of bitchy characters that she did, where she was in Meet the Millers and then kind of the morning
God,
show.
I love Meet the Millers.
That kind of kicked off to say, like, producers were like, oh, hey, she can really play a biting character.
Yeah, she's good. I'm a fan of hers. So I watched that, and I liked it, but it was weird. I did not like, oddly, and no offense, don't get mad, don't turn the radio off, Charlie, but Charlie Day was not an entertaining character for me.
Oh, really?
Like
I love him
He
in
seemed
this.
too screamy and too, like... at the end of the show when they do outtakes, his were way forced and didn't seem natural like some people. But I do like, I like him. I like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. So there you go. I watched that, and I finally watched Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, you hadn't seen that yet?
I hadn't seen it, and I watched it.
What'd you think?
I watched it.
Oh.
Just kidding. I don't know. I don't know how to describe these kind of movies, but to me, it had the same vibe as Twisters. I get it, right? I'm all, and I don't want to sound offensive, because when I say something's like, it wasn't like America. It wasn't that. It was just so like,
bro. Very
bro-y, I guess is it. But I kind of I don't hate bro-y things. It's just this was a little like forced to me, but I still was completely emotionally invested in it. And I bought into the whole Goose thing, and at the end I was all like, yay, they did it, kind of a thing. You know?
I thought it fell in line with the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it as much as I liked the first one.
I think I like volleyball better than football.
Yeah.
Also, the one I made this comment yesterday, talking to a couple of people about it. It seemed to me like I looked it up while I was watching it. It seems like we missed an episode. Like
what do you mean?
Like it seemed like there was a Top Gun 2.
Yeah.
And then Maverick, because I'm like, who's this? They just make it seem like you're supposed to know who Jennifer Connelly's character is.
Yes. That was a little odd because it's not the Kelly McGillis character.
Right. Now, then somebody told me that Jennifer Connelly's character was in the first one, and it was the general's daughter. And I
don't
was
think played by Jennifer Connelly.
No, it wasn't played by Jennifer Connelly.
I don't know that much about the original Top Gun. I've seen it, but it's not like one of those movies I'm like, oh, I love that movie. I got to watch it a dozen times. But it might be. She might be there.
Yeah. But other than that, it was just, it was Jen's birthday.
Yeah.
You know, or her birthday is today. But since, you know, she has to work and we have this to do, we celebrated over the last couple of days. So it was nice. I was at Sam's Club. Have you heard of these Govee lights?
No.
They're LED lights that are on a string and they go on your house and they are programmable. They can dance to music. They can be whatever color you want them to be. Huh. And so I've always wanted these. I'm envious of houses that have them because they're super straight. Like the strings, you can make them like look really professional and they're evenly spaced, and they screw into the soffits. So then you can, Christmas time, you don't have to put Christmas lights up. You just have these, and then you can, on 4th of July, they can be red, white, and blue, or St. Patrick's Day green, all this kind of stuff. Well, I was shopping for Jen's Christmas present, and I just happened to go to Sam's Club, and they were like super cheap at Sam's Club. So I wanted them for me. So I felt like I had to buy some for Jen too.
Yeah.
So about a set for her and a set for me. It ended up being crazy. They're not cheap. They're just, They were cheap compared to what you pay online. They were like $100 cheaper at Sam's Club for a set of 100 feet. So we got those.
Did you install them yet?
No, we were going to, but it was raining most of yesterday. So the idea here is that we bought them for Jen so we could practice installing them at her house so that we could put them at ours. But now we're going to make sure that they go all the way around her house before we use ours. And so we're going to install them during hers before we do ours. But so we got her that. She also wanted it's funny because when it comes to giving presents to people, when it's like a month away from whatever event it is, don't buy yourself anything. Yeah. Right? That's like the golden rule. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving until after Christmas, don't buy yourself anything because we're going to buy it. And Jen is notorious. Jen buys what she wants. Yeah. And then her family shops weird. I'm sorry, Cunches, but you shop weird. So they'll be out, like it's Jen's birthday, and they're out, and she's like, oh, I like this. And then her sister will take it out of her hands and say, okay, I'll get it for you for your birthday. And that's how they shop for birthday and Christmas presents.
At least you know you want it.
Yeah, I mean, Jen, she will send you exactly what she wants. She doesn't tell you, I want pots and pans. She will say, I want these pots and pans, kind of a thing. And so I get it. Or you just get her gift cards. But I know she wanted a Coach bag. So I was like, I'm going to get her gift cards to Coach. And so then I was talking to her on the phone, and this is my whole plan. It's like, because it's 3 days. We're all going out to dinner on Sunday. We're having people over on Monday, and then her birthday is today, which is Tuesday. And I was like, I'll give her a gift card each day so that she can have enough to go do whatever she wants to do with it. And on Saturday, I'm talking to her on the phone, and she's like, oh, yeah, we went to the outlet malls, and I got this Michael Kors bag. So my reaction, was I just said, okay, so I can just take back all of your Coach gift cards that I got you? And she was like, yeah, you got me Coach gift cards. And I totally did. And I hadn't gotten them yet, but it was just making a point. And so then she's like, no, I still want stuff from Coach. I just saw this bag and it was on sale, so I got it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Don't women have multiple bags anyway?
Yes,
with different outfits?
Women do.
Does Jen?
Jen, no.
Oh.
But I guess, maybe it's a new thing for her.
Yeah.
Poor Jen. She just gets lumped in as one of the guys. We were having a game night one time, and all these people were over it. And it was the usual suspects that usually come over, and it was always mostly guys, and then Jen and Tracy. And Tracy was this, Tracy and John were friends of ours that used to come over for game nights all the time. And so some girl came to the thing that hadn't normally been there before. Or no, that's not how it went. Somebody made a joke about something, and Jen was sitting right next to Tracy, and Tracy says, sometimes it just really sucks being the only girl here. Jen's like, I'm right next to you. But Jen doesn't really care about it, but she does now. So I went and got her, after I got these lights, we went to the Millennium Mall, to the Coach store, and we bought 3 gift cards to give her on these 3 separate days. Yeah. And I gave her the one on the first one, and at the end of the night, I was watching TV, and she's like, "Can you pause that a second? I just got to finish my purchase on Coach." And I was like, "You have to do what?" I was like, "It is not your birthday yet." So I better stop. I guess she's pretty much aware. By the time you listen to this, she'll know. She'll have her other gift cards.
So she hasn't ordered the bag yet. But the baguette.
No, wouldn't you be? How annoyed would you be if you were like, you got a $50 gift card, and you're like, I'm gonna go order this, and then you go order it, and you find out over the next 2 days you were gonna get $100 more, and you use that of your own cash?
Yeah,
I'd be annoyed.
I would. I'm inserting Lego in place of Coach, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I would be upset. Yeah. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention at midnight for Lego Insiders, Nightmare Before Christmas Lego set was made available, and I ordered it. I'm super excited.
Maybe this will be the year I watch that movie.
You've never seen that movie?
No, and every time you bring it up, I say that, and then you say that.
Oh, I don't recall this conversation ever. I must dump it because it is such an atrocious thing to say.
That's me.
You should watch it. It's really good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I could list a bunch of Tim Burton's movies that I don't really care for.
Yeah. All right. Well, instead of that, watch the
911
Christmas special. That's better.
I know as much.
Do they do Christmas specials on 911?
Well, they have Christmas.
Do they have Christmas episodes? Like back when they had regular network television, I feel like shows always had like the Christmas episode and the Easter or Thanksgiving. Yeah. They don't that doesn't happen nowadays.
No, you don't. That first strike ruined it all.
I just gay gasped. That reminded me, talking about TV. Did you hear Dead Boy Detectives was canceled?
About it. I hate it.
I was so upset.
Jen was like absolutely upset too. So Netflix people, what's wrong? What you don't like to have shows that people watch?
Why do you hate the gays, Netflix? I'm assuming it's because I looked up the information they released, and it was not a well-watched show. So I'm sure that's why they canceled it. But come on, people. It's a good show. Watch it.
Everything I have read, there are tens and tens of people very upset about this. It is a great show.
It is a great show.
Sometimes you got to put things out there just because they're good.
Marinate.
Right.
Yeah. Let people watch it.
Yeah. Movies Out Loud is a thing that we do here at Watermark, and I love it. We play these campy shows, and we have comedians that make fun of them. It's not lucrative. For years we lost money doing it, but we just did it because it was a fun thing for the people who love to do it to do. So Netflix, take a lesson.
Yeah.
You know what? You had your Tiger King. Mm-hmm. Give us the Dead Boys Detectives.
Take a look at NBC. Back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, the first 2 seasons of Seinfeld did shit in the ratings. And NBC was like, now I got a good feeling about this. Now, the most watched television show ever by people that I know. But it was a huge hit. Huge hit.
According to my friend Scott.
It was a cultural phenomenon for our neighbors, Joan and Debbie.
Is there a show like that now? Because, talk about the way that TV used to be. Maybe we're just in a different age group, or maybe I just don't have friends anymore. But when we would watch Seinfeld, I'd go into work the next day, and it's all that we would talk about.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's just watch Seinfeld, and you talk about what happened in it, which was basically nothing.
Well, it was appointment television because you didn't have streaming or DVRs or anything like that, so you had to watch it that day when it aired. Now everybody's watching things whenever they want to watch it.
Do you remember having this? Did you ever have that? I don't know if where you kind of grew up, but it was like this wire that came from the cable box, and it was on this triangular thing that had a slider on it, and you would slide to the channel that you wanted to be on.
No, by the time I was old enough, we had an actual clicker that was wireless. But we did have the first cable box I remember having sat on the top of the TV, and it had 1 through 21 buttons, and those were the channels, and you would go up there and hit the button for the channel you want. And I remember 1 was PBS, and then like 2, 3, 4 were like CBS, ABC, and then 21 was HBO.
35 was Fox, and 2 is NBC. So if you had that slider and you want to go from 2 to 35, zip, you go fast, immediately get yelled at by your father.
Because you're going to break it?
You're going to break it?
Now, by the time I was able to remote, we had
you ever
wireless
did the dial?
Yep. And then when the dial broke, you had the pliers on top of the TV to turn it. Yeah, I don't recall us having that, but my grandparents, I remember the pliers being on the TV and having to turn the dial.
Good times.
Yeah, and it was the smaller TV on top of the big TV that was in the cabinet, but it didn't work, so they just bought a new TV and put it on top of the TV cabinet.
Oh my God, that TV record player console with the 8-track in it.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. Those were the days.
So together,
yes.
I felt like we should.
I didn't know what you were going to say.
We went to go see. Clearly, I don't either. We went to the Food and Wine Festival.
Yes.
We got a lovely invite on a very busy day, but we worked our butts off to make time to go because we appreciate the invite, and it's the Food and Wine Festival. Who wouldn't want to go to that? Yes.
And so it was the opening day. So like we just went for the food. It wasn't normally like past events we've done. They've had like, like a welcoming like little party thing, and they gather everybody together. But this was just a come as you whenever you want, as you want on that first day, and try some stuff out.
But here's a lesson to people who want to do that. Don't show up at 9 a.m.
No, well, not on the first day. I assume now if you got there at 9 a.m., things would be...
I wouldn't think so.
But it was the first day. So things weren't immediately open.
I'm going to guess, and we've done no research to this, so don't get mad at us, Disney, but I'm going to guess that 11 is probably the time to go if you're going to eat the Food and Wine Festival food.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see any breakfast foods. So, I mean, 11, 12 o'clock is probably best if you're going to... Unless you want to eat chicken wings and pickle spears at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I can make anything a breakfast food.
But it was a good little time. Good time. They had some returning favorites. The pickle milkshake was back.
It sure was. With a vengeance.
I thoroughly enjoy.
Lessons learned from the first year.
I felt fine afterwards, so I'm going to guess it was the incredibly spicy wings mixed with the pickle milkshake that messed me up.
I did notice that you were giving some sage advice to the people in line. Which was remove the dill.
Oh yes, when you're drinking the pickle milkshake, remove that little sprig of dill on top for garnish, because you will forget it's there. You will suck it up in your straw, and it is not a pleasant flavor after you've just had a sweet pickle milkshake.
I feel like that should be a euphemism for something. A sprig of dill. It's just fun to say.
But along with that, we also had peanut butter and jelly chicken wings, which I thought were delightful. I'm a big PB&J guy, so I really like them.
I gotta say, it's usually, I think, when you get PB&J anything, I mean, unless I'm making the PB&J, I feel like the peanut butter overtakes. I usually double up the jelly, and this was a perfect. You could taste everything in it, and it was delicious. Now, I will say this: I have been dieting, so I haven't been eating a lot of sweet things. So when I bit into that, it was heaven.
Yeah,
the gates of heaven opened up.
It was fantastic.
So that was really good. But they also had at that same place, because that's like right there in the...
Yeah, it's the Beaker and Dr. Bunsen Muppets factory.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had fried pickles.
Ooh, and fried pickle spears were delicious.
It must have been a long time since I had a fried pickle. But even then, this was the most perfectly cooked, delicious fried pickle I've ever had.
Yeah. They were just, I mean, it's Disney. They know what they're doing. What were some of your other highlights? Your favorite foods?
I'll say this: there's a staple. It's at every Food and Wine Festival, and I love it. And I don't care how full I am. Which by the time we got there, I was pretty full. When you get to the Alps, it's the Swiss cheese. It's delicious and incredible. And then they've got that dark chocolate fondue. So that was really good. I know we were on a hunt for the pierogies. After we left and I looked it all up, there's that new Commucore thing,
Communist?
Whatever. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Nothing like a good communist pierogi.
But that's in that new area that was built. And that's the thing I didn't realize is that this food and wine festival is throughout the whole place.
Yeah. It's not just the countries.
I just thought it was the countries, but it's not. As I was thinking of the things that we couldn't find, they're in all of these other places, like the different sections. But that looked pretty good. I will point out we went to the refreshment outpost. And we had that Impossible sausage.
Oh yeah, very good.
That was really good. That Impossible meat's coming a long way.
Yeah,
I've tried.
I was really impressed.
I've tried a lot of different kinds, and it's getting better. And that was pretty good. But that also had that. They had that chocolate mousse there.
Oh yeah, it was like in a white chocolate shell.
That was some silky goodness. Yeah. So try the chocolate mousse at the refreshment outpost. I just noted we also didn't find the caramel apple milkshake, but I think we found out where it was on the way out.
Yeah.
But we were just way too full.
Yeah. Also, the rain was rolling in, so we were trying to get to the car before it poured on us.
We had this thing to get to, so it's kind of like, if you're going to be there all day, like we gave ourselves an hour and a half to try as much food as we could. I mean, we're going to get like 5 or 6 stations and we're going to want to throw up because we're going to be so full. But if you're there all day, then you have lunch, you hit a couple of things, and then you go back for dinner, and then you go back for desserts. So, yeah, it was super, super cool. A lot of good stuff. Was there anything that was a highlight for you?
Yeah, I mean, the pickle milkshake was my favorite. I know that it was very divisive when they premiered it last year, but I loved it. And the peanut butter and jelly chicken wings were fantastic. I loved them. My brother and his girlfriend went over the weekend, and they had a good time and tried a bunch of foods. But they also got to see Sugar Ray perform, who was there this weekend. So that was a nice throwback to my teenage years. Every morning.
Good old Sugar Ray.
Every morning. Wasn't he like the host of Extra for like a bit?
Yeah, and like some game show or something? Or he's been on game shows?
He really was like, used his music career to become the next AC Slater. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, great time over there. AC Slater.
Mario
Lopez, yeah. So yeah, great.
So we did that,
great.
and we came back to the office to get ready to go to...
Yes, to our 30th anniversary celebration with the exhibit at the Orange County Regional History Center.
Yeah, I think the exhibit was it's just really cool. I said this in my speech and all that, but it's interesting because what we did is we invited, like, space is limited, so we invited a handful of like past people that we've worked with and current people and some community leaders and everything. And several people mentioned this throughout the time before, like, sort of the speeches, and I was talking to them, in that they could see their, a huge 30 years of their life history in there. And I thought that was interesting because, they're to celebrate Watermark's anniversary, but what we do is we cover other people's stories. So you see these covers and you know where you were when this happened and when this happened. And it's kind of cool. That's one thing I really like about Watermark.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really good time. Really great turnout. History Center is a lovely place, and they put together a really great exhibit.
Yeah, shout out to Scotty Campbell, who really sort of is our hero for this celebration. He came up to me at the beginning of the year and said, I think we should partner on this. And I had big dreams, and the budget didn't make it to where the dreams were. And Scotty said, we're going to make this work, and he did, and it's great. And he and his team, people that he works with there, did a great job. So I'm super happy about it. Commissioner Patty Sheehan gave a few remarks, which I really appreciate. I've really come to appreciate, not just who she is, but what she does.
Yeah.
I feel like she has this job where it doesn't matter what you do. I think you can probably relate to this. It doesn't matter what you do. Someone's going to be really excited about it, or someone's going to think
bitch and complain about it.
That you're going to be the worst that there ever was. And she's got to play all angles of this, and she's got a whole, community of constituents that she has to look out for, but she also has to, be the perfect person for the LGBTQ plus community because, there are eyes on her for that. And I think, I don't know. I have a really great appreciation for what she does, and I appreciate that she was there to speak.
Yeah, that's a problem with when you're so visible, you become an easy target for some people.
Yeah, you almost aren't human anymore because you're like, oh, you're just this thing, and it's like, and I think it comes from everywhere because it's like, oh, she represents the gays, so of course she's going to be like this, and then the gays are going to be like,
you're not doing
you're
enough.
not doing, you're supposed to represent us like this, and you're there, and you should do this, and it's just, it's got to take its toll. I don't know. I wonder. I would love to sit down with her and just chat about someday, like what was it that. When did you come to terms with that? That's what this was, and how did you come to terms with it? I find that would be fascinating.
Yeah. Also, I find that a string of jealousy runs through a lot of things like that with not just the LGBT community, but all communities. Just as a society, as people become successful, there's this tinge of jealousy, and we just like to see them get knocked down a few pegs. So we bitch and moan about them when there's nothing to bitch and moan about. But, to each their own. We're all human.
Yeah. Yeah. Like one of my least favorite phrases is when somebody comes up and goes, did you hear about so-and-so? Like, whatever you're about to say isn't going to be good. Whatever it is isn't going to be good.
I assure you I have heard of it, and I don't care.
We did get a little video sent to us from our founder, Watermark's founder.
Yeah.
Not the Lord.
The Lord and Savior, Tom Dyer.
Tom Dyer. Which is really nice. I think it's really cool for people to hear him, sort of chime in on this 30th anniversary. All in all, it was really great.
Yeah, it was really good.
The cookies by Bebe Bakes were amazing.
Yeah, they were good. They're fine.
I won't say anything about where I got the cake, but seriously, if you're a cake decorating thing, if you have 4.7 stars at your bakery and you say that you have a cake designer there, then maybe you should design something instead of just printing a logo on sugar paper and slapping it on a cake that's not even large enough. the little thing they printed wasn't even large enough for the whole thing. Anyway, it was delicious.
I will say
though.
I'm not gonna call out who it was, but I did have, because you had two cakes,
yes,
and then the second one
lemon
you had initially
raspberry.
cut into because I wanted the red velvet, and I took up one bite of that and I threw it away.
Oh, really?
It was disgusting. It tastes burnt to me.
Oh, is it because did I make a bad combination choice? Because I chose like a chocolate fudge with red velvet.
I don't know if it was a combo. The combo, it was not a good cake.
The lemon raspberry was good.
Yeah, I wasn't after my first battle with a piece of cake. I wasn't going to go back for a second. But it was fine. Everything else was delicious. Palm catered it, and the food was great. There is a spicy peanut butter brisket sandwich that she had there that was delicious.
Oh wow.
And we went before we got on the road to go to Miami. We stopped by Palms to get some lunch, and I had never had her colossal PB&J, and I had that, and I gotta say that is the best peanut butter and jelly sandwich I've ever had.
Wow.
Had marshmallow fluff and bananas on it. Delicious.
See, I didn't
amazing.
get to eat any of the food because I knew I was gonna have a piece of cake, and I used all my points at the Food and Wine Festival, so I just kind of had to. I know I was going to eat a cookie too.
Well, when you've got some points, try the spicy peanut butter brisket sandwich because it was amazing.
At Jen's little birthday gathering yesterday, that was the first time I went over my points for the day.
Yeah.
But I did find we found hot dogs that are 1 point. So they're like turkey hot dogs that are 1 point and hot dog buns that are 1 point. They're keto bread and they are so chewy. But it was good.
Oh,
yeah, it was a really good week.
2 point dog.
It was one of those weeks where it was so busy that I just was kind of like, how are we going to get through this?
Yeah.
But when it was all said and done, it was a really good week.
Yeah, it was a very good week.
Well, for us, it was.
Oh, for some people, it wasn't.
I gotta say, Big Brother is such an interesting show to me. It pulls me in so many different directions. It gives me all the thoughts, all the feels. Well, most of them, mostly anger.
Ooh, excuse me.
But I felt like week 6, I was right back at week 1.
Yeah. It's interesting because in watching this, I was about halfway through the first episode of this week, and there were some decisions being made, and I was like, you all are so fucking stupid. And then I have to remember, we're seeing everything. They're
Right.
not. So they're going based on the information they know. But as somebody who's seeing all the information, this show is infuriating watching them make such stupid moves,
Yeah.
knowing what the other ones are thinking.
What's infuriating to me is that I know this is going to be a running theme of today. I know that they're all big fans of Big Brother. Not one person in that house just up and decided to audition and got in. Most of them have been trying for years. They all know how the game is played, and they all know how it works. Like, everybody knows pawns go home. Everybody knows certain rules and how things work. So for them to behave the way that they're behaving is so infuriating to me that you know, like, this is what Big Brother is. Yeah, it makes me crazy sometimes. Yeah. So we start the week off. It's interesting that we don't do these like Sunday, like the whole week, like start with Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, like whoever goes home, and that's the end of the conversation. So we have to remind everybody that T-Core is head of household.
Yep.
And she put up Mackenzie and Cam, and then she put up Tucker as a pawn.
Yep.
So that's who's on the block. And then this kind of made me laugh when the show starts and they do that thing where they go back and they play something.
Yeah.
And Leah was like, "What's the Pentagon? I don't know anything."
She reminds me of the blonde from Mean Girls, the one whose breasts tell the weather. I'm sure she's a lovely girl, and I'm sure it's the way that they're editing it, but she comes across as an idiot.
Yeah. Also, like, do you not pay attention? Do you remember when Tucker called the whole Pentagon out in front of everybody? Of course you've heard of the Pentagon. You just don't remember it. Unless she's doing this on purpose to play stupid. She reminds me of, like, the younger sister of Rami and Michelle. Like, she...
Oh, yeah.
She should be in that show. It makes me laugh. So that made me laugh. And then it the episode starts with Angela.
Oh, God. Eating a mini charcuterie board, looking at Brooklyn's photo.
Like, cursing
She is
Brooklyn.
so petty.
Getting that.
I kind of like it. I
mean,
kind of like the pettiness.
Come on. It's also, I'm hoping it's the same charcuterie. So I'm hoping that the crackers have gone stale, and I'm hoping that there's a little mold in the cheese that wasn't supposed to be there.
Didn't you hear what Brooklyn said? That stuff's not going to go bad after just a couple of weeks. Calm down. It's all fine. The crackers are crispy. The cheese is fine. Unless it's blue cheese, then it's probably got mold in it.
And then there's the running theme of food. Because then there's this weird moment between... First of all, I will not eat food that is in the mouth of anyone with a mustache. I don't care. My husband could grow a mustache and I'm like, I'm not eating food out of you. Tom Holland could grow a mustache and I'll say, I'm not eating food that's in your mouth. Like, it's just...
Do you, regardless of their facial hair, do you eat a lot of food out of people's mouths?
No, I'm just saying, like, I would go halvesies on a pickle with somebody who was hot.
Right, but it wasn't in their mouth.
Not with a mustache coming at me. I'd be afraid. I'd be a thought. Anyway, Chemo,
yes,
and Joseph decide that they're gonna Lady and the Tramp a pickle.
Yeah,
which, by the way, sounds like a euphemism for something else too.
Yeah. Is Joseph gay or bi at least?
I don't know,
because I'm getting some he's really attached to some of the guys.
You know, you didn't watch Big Brother back when Frankie Grande was on it, but he had this bromance going on with this guy named Zach, and you know, they were just really close, and the show never showed anything, right? But it was just like this cute little bromance between a straight guy and a gay guy, while Zach came out as bisexual later, which makes me wonder if something... Well, no, the people watch the live feeds, and if the producers don't want to show something, the fans that watch it will
Although I have been seeing a lot on Twitter that when things look like they're getting interested on the feed, that the producers cut it.
Yeah, because they want people to watch the show.
Yeah.
Because the fans will tell everybody what happened.
Yeah.
I'll still watch it, but I do read. I know who won Power of Veto.
Yeah, I looked it up. I am blown away with what's coming up.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to that. So they cut to Leah, who is playing her best Eeyore. She is so whiny and sad, and I can't stand it. I think she may be my least favorite person in the house right now. Like, you're so whiny and obnoxious.
No, she won't be my least. I like her. But there's just one person that I can't stand.
Yeah.
And then there's the one person I can't stand to listen to.
Do you want to tell me who it is?
Oh, I can't stand Angela.
Oh.
And she's like, we're back to week 1 for me and her. Like, where she.
This week really pushed my limits with
Angela. You talk about people being stupid.
Yeah.
And
so dumb.
Like, I'll just say this so that I don't have to say it again. I go back and forth between this. Either she's just so stupid or this is a choice that she's playing the game this way, which is just infuriating. And I cannot stand it. And then I get mad at the producers for putting her on the show. And then I say, like, I just don't. It's the constant whining and the overhyped speech. You know, like I said earlier, everyone in that house has been trying for years to get on that. They're all big fans of the house. You're not special, Angela. There's nothing special about you. So when you want to sit up there and cry and say, this is my dream, this is Big Freaking Brother, I've wanted this so bad, everybody there wants it that bad. So don't be so insulting and shut up.
Not Kenny. Kenny didn't want it that bad.
Well, I mean, he wanted it bad enough to apply for 7 years to get on the show. You know, he just...
Only to turn away from it.
Yeah, so, like, that whole, like, come on, guys, come on, please, come on. And then she begged to be in that. Anyway, we'll get there. But it makes me, honestly, not want to watch after this season anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if this is what you get, it's not even... It just doesn't even seem real. It seems completely fake. It seems like it's produced by the same producers that produce... Everybody Loves Chrisley. Chrisley Knows Best. Like, it just seems like it's pretending to be real, but it's completely scripted.
Yeah. I think the same thing happened with The Real World on MTV. I feel like it reached this point where it just got to be a caricature of itself.
Yeah. I find it more interesting when you put everyday people in there, but when you put people who want to be famous in there, it becomes this fake show. So anyway, do you want to talk about Angela twerking, or we're moving on from that?
I mean, that about covers it. Rubina and Mackenzie teach Angela to twerk, which
I did
is
find
a side I did not want to see.
I do find it funny that she kept saying that she was rolling that butt. That made me laugh.
Let's see. What did I write down? Oh, Chelsea tells Mackenzie that if she wins, she'll pull her down, but then she says in the diary room that she'll pull down Cam. Mackenzie is just below Leah with annoying me, thinking that you have, like, when they're in the diary room, they talk like they think they're the most popular person in the house, and I was like, both of you have no one but each other.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
agree with that.
weird.
But it's so typical. Like, you tell everybody, yeah, I'm going to use it on you, because you want them to get in there because you want to win, so that you can't go up as a replacement. So you just tell them whatever you think they want to hear. Was this before or after, though, Quinn, the really awkward, you must have been so awkward with Quinn and Leah on the couch.
God. Quinn is an idiot. If you don't, first of all, you're in this game and you see the way that she is talking to you, friend zoning you. And he's what's the word? Simp. He's a simp. And it is weird and very uncomfortable. Simp is when you're so infatuated with somebody that you do anything for them, even though they don't want anything to do with you. What does it stand for? It stands for I'm going to look it up. Talk amongst yourself while I'm looking up what a simp is.
There's this moment on the couch where Quinn he's just flirting with Leah, and it's a one-sided flirt thing, and it's just so uncomfortable. It must be, like, I wrote down, like, watching them flirt or not flirt with each other has got to be as uncomfortable as watching virgins make love for the first time. It's just awkward. It's cringy, and I thought of you during the whole time.
It's simpish. It's slang for Simpleton, someone who is weak, submissive, or overly attentive to a person they are attracted to.
Yeah, no, I know that you don't like Quinn, and that's fine. I like Quinn, but I will agree with you. He makes a lot of really stupid mistakes, and I thought he was about to make another one when it came to Joseph, but I think that he gets it now because, anyway, he makes poor decisions.
Yeah.
And you would think that someone who's such a super fan could see through it all or could understand that everything's
because he's thinking with his little Quinn sometimes.
Guess what, Quinn? You lie to people all the time. So guess what? They're all lying back to you.
That's the thing. It doesn't matter who's in the house. They all seem shocked when someone lies to them or betrays them when they all do it. They should call it Big Hypocrite, not Big Brother. Also, Quinn, I think why I can't stand Quinn is because he reminds me of Seth Green from Austin Powers. If Seth Green had long curly hair, he would be Seth Green from Austin Powers.
I can't get over the fact that he's like that dude from American Dad. And I mean,
looks like him. Yeah.
I'd probably get kicked out of the house because they would think that this was a violent act, but I would wait till he was sleeping. And I would just quickly epilate that face. Just the mustache. Get it done. Get it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'd be kicked out of the house.
Yeah. I'd be all right with that, though. I would say it was worth $750,000 to be able to go a week of watching the show without that mustache. It's not even a mustache. So we get to the veto.
Yeah.
We got T-Core, Tucker, Mac, and Cam. They're the players. Cam's name gets drawn, and he's already playing, so he picks Joseph, which is a bonehead move.
Yeah, stupid move.
He should have picked Chelsea.
He should have picked Chelsea, yeah.
And then...
I mean, not that it didn't work out for him in the end, but still, he should have picked Chelsea.
And then Angela's name gets drawn because she wants to win so she can pull Tucker off that block.
Yeah.
Remember that. Keep that in mind over the next 2 pages.
Yes. So the veto comp is the AI Apocalypse Training Ground, which basically is just slingshotting balls onto...
Yeah. It's a classic game that hasn't been on in a while, in a couple of seasons. So people were super excited about it. Why does Tucker always look tired? Is it a lot of work winning all those competitions?
I don't know. I don't think he looks tired. He looked... they all kind of look a little exhausted at this point.
Yeah.
He's probably late night staying up with Rubina.
So during this competition, did you see Tucker's midsection?
Little Tucker?
Yeah.
Oh. I saw the area. I didn't see it pop out. Did it pop out?
No, but it's completely defined in 5 or 6 different occasions. Like before the competition starts, and then when he gets up there to the first
I'll have to go back and
then
watch
they stopped showing the you could see it was as if let's just say as if he was wearing a white bathing suit that was tight and got out of a pool. It was like that defined.
I will have to go back and look. Tucker not tucking.
So, all right. So then Joseph's the first one out.
Yes. Oh, something we should also mention. I'm sure if this is an old game, maybe they do this every time they do this game. But that as you're eliminated, you get an assignment. And it's either a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, they do that a couple of times. You either get a punishment or you get a prize. Joseph's the first one out. So the first one out gets the power of veto.
Yeah, he is assigned veto.
Second out is Angela.
Yep.
And she gets... the Matrix.
I wish she would have gotten this.
I so badly wish she...
So the Matrix is you get 24 hours in solitude with the AI version of Matt, who talks to you the entire 24 hours.
God, I wish she had got it. Now, they did something like this once before with this guy named Jesse, who's like this muscle guy, and but he was actually in the room for 24 hours, and he did this whole fitness thing and just talked about how fit he was and made smoothies. Oh, it was hilarious. And I didn't like the person who got stuck in there with him. And so it was great. Now, I wish that Angela got this, but Angela was smart enough to know that it probably had something to do with Matt. And she's like, I can't be in solitary
with Matt. So she trades with Joseph.
So she takes power of veto. So Joseph ends up with that. Next out is
Mackenzie.
And she ends up getting a trip to Hawaii.
Which she keeps.
Yes. Yeah, even though she wants to come off the block, she's like, somebody else is going to take it. I'll lose this, and I can end up with a punishment, so I'm just going to keep the trip.
Yeah.
So then T-Core's out next, and she gets, when she said, I don't know what word she said, but it was radiation eradication or something. And then Mac looks at her and goes, eradication.
Yes, she mispronounced it.
That's okay.
So that one is they dump 1,000 little balls on the yard, and you have to use a little claw hand to pick each one up in over the course of 12 hours. If you don't do it, then you don't get to play for the next head of household.
Right.
So she doesn't want that, so she trades with Angela and gets Angela, who had the power of attorney. Or power of attorney.
veto.
Power of veto.
Power of veto. Then the next out is Tucker.
Yes.
And Tucker gets $5,000 in cash.
Yes.
So, and that, I mean, I get it, right?
She's the head of household, so you're
Tucker's
kissing
a
up
nice
to her.
guy, and he's like, I don't want T-Core to get a punishment, and I know if I take the power of veto, she's going to end up with a punishment, so I'm going to let her keep, I'm not. She's got the power of veto, so the next person's going to take it, and then she'll probably end up with the punishment. So he took the power of veto, giving her the $5,000, knowing he would ultimately end up with a punishment.
Yeah, knowing that Cam was going to take the veto.
Yeah, so that was it was a nice thing. I was just hey, Tucker's a nice guy. I get that. Then Cam wins, and he gets the AI assist punishment because he's the last person to go. And this is sort of like, it's like, asking Siri a question or asking a Google Assistant. So a question will come over the loudspeaker, and then he would have to go to the Big Brother encyclopedias and look up what the answer is, and until he gets the answer correct, he has to keep doing it. And it's whenever the question's asked, no matter if it's the middle of the night, no matter when it is. So Cam gets that, but Cam takes the power of veto, meaning it goes to Tucker.
Yes. Which of all the people, I'm glad Tucker got this one because I thought he was enjoyable with it. I feel like everyone else would have been boring with it. I find Tucker delightful and entertaining.
I just was like, we get it. It's like the fish swimming in the Little Mermaid Broadway musical. We understand you're underwater. We understand that you're AI.
That's his shtick.
The
It's his
whole
character.
time.
Every
Single time.
The whole time. I
Wow.
dig it.
I didn't really care for it. But
Shocking.
also, I just want to point out that I didn't want him to get the AI instigator, but I had high hopes for him because he's an instigator. He did not do a good job as the AI instigator.
No.
It just always seemed to fail. Like, do some stuff. That's why I really wish Quinn had got it. I think Quinn would have been good at it and he probably would have gotten in trouble, but because he can't not tell people it was him. So anyway, I thought Angela's punishment was funny at first.
It was obnoxious.
And then I hated everything about her. That's when I started to really hate her again. Because she's just, I know that this is terrible and that she's a human being who, probably who is deserving of love and sympathy. And I'm sure there are people that do. But when she started like crying and like moping about having to do this punishment when it got like 8 hours into it, and then she's like crying and she goes into the chamber where it's like, oh, alert, you have to be decontaminated. And then they shoot stuff in her face and pour cold water on her. And she's just sitting there crying. It's all of this is her. That was some good TV. I just don't like her. That's all.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, she cries throughout the whole thing, which is an Angela thing to do.
Right, and I think it's a strategy. Like it's an act. It's like, oh, I'm going to appear to be so weak and terrible.
Yeah. And then Joseph enters his matrix where he has to listen to AI Matt talk for 24 hours. Only interesting thing that came out of that that I thought was fascinating, that no number before 1,000 has an A in it.
I found that interesting.
Never knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So like that's one of the things is that the AI Matt said that no number before 1,000 has a letter A in it. He goes, you want to see? 1. O-N-E. No A. 2. And he goes, he's going through it. Oh, it would have gone crazy.
Yeah.
So then everything, then the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a ridiculous show after this. So the AI instigator keeps saying things, and it says something dumb. They're really not interesting. I don't know why Rubina keeps getting upset about these things. It's just they're so inane. And then, but everybody starts to think that Angela's the AI instigator.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, well, she thinks nobody knows it's her, and it is her, so we're going to put her up as the replacement nomination when Cam takes himself off. Angela's going to go up. And for whatever reason, Tucker feels this complete attachment to Angela, and he wants to protect her, so he goes to her and says, people think you're the AI instigator. And he's telling her this because he wants her to know so that she can kind of get ahead of it and be like, it's not me, and that kind of thing. No, that would be the easy thing to do, but Angela has to lose her shit and say, he's lying to me because he wants me gone, and I'm going to ruin his game, and I'm going to tell everybody to get him out.
Yeah. So she goes to Mackenzie, Leah, and Quinn and says, we need to get Tucker out because he's trying to play mind games with me. And of course, the little game of telephone, the little birdie flying throughout, Quinn goes to the visionaries.
Quinn couldn't wait.
And then tells them what Angela said. And then he goes to Tucker and tells him what Angela said. And then Tucker goes to Angela and calls her out. And he's like, "What? I'm trying to help you.
Right.
What the hell is wrong with you?"
I got to say, I did feel bad for him because I honestly believe that when it came to it, he would send Rubina home over Angela.
Yeah.
And say that this is the game. It's $750,000, and what she and I have is legit and separate from this game.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him and that he can separate that. And I honestly believe that she was completely in the wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, she just, in her typical Angela fashion, way overreacted to the situation. And just said, I don't believe you. There's nothing you can say. I won't believe you.
So Cam takes himself down, and T-Core puts up Angela, as we all suspected would happen.
By the way, every other line I wrote down, oh, Angela's crying. Oh, Angela's crying. Like, she does from this point until... Well, for the rest of this, for all the shows.
Now, before she put Angela up, Tucker had gone to her and said, you need to put Leah up. And she says, well, I will take that into consideration. She puts Angela up. And then Tucker, annoyingly, is like, I'm tired of people not listening to me. It's, it's that whole thing where everybody wants everyone to listen to them, but then gets annoyed when nobody listens to them.
Right.
Which is why, at the end of the day, I don't care for anyone in Big Brother because they're all hypocrites and whiny, and none of them deserve the money.
It's unusual, to be honest with you, because usually, Quinn. I mean, usually there'll be like one person that they feel actually really attached to, and if that person betrays them, then they actually get upset about that. But Quinn outside of the diary room and inside of the diary room is what people are typically like. Like inside the diary room, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally doing this and lying about this and this and this, and it's just a game and whatever." And then outside of it, he pretends like it's a bigger deal. That's kind of how people typically are. But this is a weird season. People are insanely. There's no loyalty, and that's unheard of. There's usually, I just don't think that anyone's loyal to anyone.
No,
I think they would they would all sell each other out. I think maybe the only person that was loyal to anybody was Tucker to Angela.
Yeah,
and she completely
and
doesn't
Chelsea
get it.
to an extent to Cam, but that's because Cam hasn't been playing up until this point.
Right. And I feel
so
like
he's not a threat.
if she had to, she would, to save her game, she'd get rid of him. And she would link up with Quinn or somebody like that. I hate Angela. I hate this show. That's what I keep writing down. Then let's see. You question if Rubina has your back after you promised Angela you didn't have hers. Isn't that weird? Like, that's another thing with that Tucker situation is Rubina comes in and they're having a conversation and he's like, well, I don't know if this is real or if you have my back at all. Like, why are you saying that to her? You just told Angela you would get rid of her. So calm down. I think my, other than the arrogance, I think the only problem, like on a personal level, his arrogance bothered me, but on a gameplay level, it's not. It's just it's a tactic. But he seemed to not really understand when he was alone why everyone didn't do what he wanted them to do.
Yeah,
and I find that very odd. Like they're not all here to play the game that you think. And she did the right thing. T-Core did the right thing for her game. I think putting Angela up was smart.
Yeah, so everybody's doing the little mopey, whiny bitch thing, and then Joseph comes out of exile, and everything is complete and utter chaos, and he's like, I don't know what the hell happened. I've been locked away for 24 hours, and then everything's chaos when he comes out. So Chelsea and Cam say now is the time. If we're going to get Tucker out, now is the time.
Yeah.
So they start to put together their... It reminded me, you ever read Julius Caesar in school?
No.
That's reminded me of, they were preparing for the Senate hearing, and Caesar is going to walk in, and they're like, all right, we're ready. And they're gathering their numbers, and Chelsea gets Quinn on board, Mackenzie and Leah on board, and they're all like, we're going to take Tucker out. When the rest of the house is just like, oh, no, it's Angela. We're just going to get Angela out.
Isn't it interesting how from week to week it just changes?
Yeah.
Like how
it flips so easily.
Yeah. And because the Pentagon was in control of everything, and then it flipped on them, and all of a sudden those three people who were remaining were in trouble.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, oh, this could possibly flip, and then this what are they even called?
The Sixth Avenue.
The Sixth Avenue could, like, who's running things could completely be shattered. So it's interesting, but it all it is interesting the way they do it this year. Is with this third person, you can't really know what's going to happen until the AI arena, because you don't know who the final two are going to be.
Yeah.
So they get to the AI arena, and it's a puzzle, which interesting.
Tucker is so good at.
Yeah, he's so good at this game, but he's good at puzzles, and he loves puzzles. That's funny when they showed his picture later. I love puzzles. So you got to fit these different shaped things in the right order on this block, and there's a number on every one of them. So when you see what that number is, then you got to go grab the tile that has that number, plug it in, hit your button. First person to do it wins.
Yep.
And Tucker just struggled because he thought
he was doing it backwards.
Yeah, he thought he was supposed to put the numbers in a different, like facing a different direction. So he was the worst at it. Mackenzie wins.
Yep. Pulls, and she comes down, and it's between Angela and Tucker.
Yeah. And so then this starts. If you want to watch like this, the most pathetic 3 minutes of television. Just watch while other people are trying to have conversations, and all you hear is Angela in the background. Please keep me. I want to fight with you. I want to protect you, and I want to save you. How can you say that to an entire room full of people? You're gonna vote somebody out next week.
Yeah,
you moron. Anyway, I just can't listen to her anymore.
Well, you're gonna have to listen to her at least another week, because 5-3 they voted to send Tucker home.
Yeah. I wrote, what's up with Joseph? Joseph had a mental breakdown at some point during the show. He just started crying. Yeah. And then it just was contagious.
I don't know if it was just the situation or that 24 hours of Matt just finally caught up to him and it broke him. But yeah, it's funny because it was 5-3 to get Tucker out, but it felt like other than Chelsea and Quinn, everyone was super sad he was going home.
Yeah.
Everybody was crying.
Well, they knew they had to, but they liked him, and so they felt bad, and so that's why they were crying. And I would say, so Tucker goes out for his interview, and he finds out that America voted to give him $20,000 to be the AI instigator. He totally deserved that. So good for him. He actually seems like a good, genuine person. Yeah. When he's not in that house playing that game, like he was loyal to he's like, I was just going to be loyal to my word. That's just what I had to do. And he was super likable. So I can see why the people in the house liked him. Oh, and Angela was crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would they go back into the house? Or no, is this the next episode?
Where they show what happened when he leaves?
Yeah. And everyone's crying, and Angela goes up to Chemo, and she's just like, he'll still be friends with you, and blah, 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 blah. And she's like trying to console Chemo, and Chemo looks at her and goes, I voted to keep him. and then she just stops
so
talking.
But yeah, I wrote down, Rabina crying, I understand.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend just got out. Cam, though, you voted to get rid of Tucker, and you're crying. Mackenzie and Leah, you voted to get rid of Tucker, and you're both crying.
Now, for those who don't watch the show, there's not like tears rolling down their faces. They are ugly crying.
They're sobbing.
They're sobbing over
Like
sending him home.
like they just sentenced him to death.
Yeah. And now I did feel bad for Rabina. She's not like my favorite person in the house, but I get like in an instant, like the person that she loves is gone.
Yeah.
And there is as much time for her to spend in that house without him than there was for her to be with him. And so that's gotta hurt,
Yeah.
like it's just unexpected and like ripping a Band-Aid off, boom, he's gone.
45 days of seeing that person 24/7 every
Right.
day, and now it's gone.
Yeah,
I can see why
they're
she's
gonna
upset.
get up there. I mean, they're only like halfway through.
Yeah.
Right? If they're even there.
Yeah, because it's 90 days. So that was the 45-day mark. Yeah. I wrote down here, Quinn reminds me of Seth Green from Austin Powers. It's disturbing.
How is Mac going to sit there and say, because she won 2 AI comps, like those are designed to be fast and easy because they've got to happen immediately and they can't go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So how is she a comp beast?
Both her and Leah in their diary rooms after before the HOA comp starts was infuriatingly annoying because she's like, I'm the new comp beast. No, you're not. And then Leah's like, this is my time. I wrote it down. This is my time to show them that I'm the leader of the house. Leah, you ain't gonna do shit. Sit down and, slink your way through the rest of the season until they get rid of you. You're not gonna do shit.
Yeah.
Although I did read ahead, she does do a power move.
I don't think that. I mean, here's the thing: is like they got rid of all the good players, so what you got left is like the battle of the worst.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. With every vote that somebody leaves, the house gets a little more boring, and I don't know by the end of this how exciting this show's going to be.
They'll create drama. They're good at this.
Because right now it's a house full of boring people.
Right, because they just haven't been the center of attention because other people have been crazier. But they'll get there. So we get to the HOH competition. This is another classic game. This is one where they take eggs and they have to like put their fingers through chicken wire and grab the egg and then move it up and around a maze. It used to just be that you had to collect like a certain amount of them, but they've started adding this feature where then you get it to a certain point and you put it on a ramp and you got to knock down the letters HOH with it, which looks super difficult to do.
Yes. I imagine, because this game went super long on the episode, I imagine before it's edited down that this took them hours.
Yeah. I mean, I would think this. It's going to take at least 10 minutes for you to get an egg to the ramp.
Yeah.
And then the first 5 eggs fell.
Yeah.
Off the ramp. So, I mean, how annoying is that? Also, I just want to point out how much I hate Angela. So the first 2 people.
Oh, yeah, that was so stupid.
Yeah, the first 3 people to drop an egg get on slop. And Angela, she hates to be on
do slop again.
So she didn't play the game until 3 people had dropped their egg because she didn't want to be on slop. I find
Which, I mean, didn't work out for her because she didn't become HOA. She didn't win because she just sat there while everybody else was playing the game.
Yeah. Not a fan. Anyway, Quinn wins.
Quinn wins. Sorry, I just got a call from our sponsor.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Quinn wins. And this show is just giving me whiplash because, just back and forth of who seems to have the power as far as alliances. And I guess that's what happens when you don't have any loyalty, that, alliances change so quickly.
This is where I wrote no one has loyalty. And then you start to see, this is where you really start to see like the people who just suck. Like I think Joseph is terrible.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him go. It's like not next. Obviously I want Angela to go next, but then Joseph can go right after that. Like so Quinn wins and he's having these one-on-one meetings with everybody. And he's meeting with Joseph and Joseph's like, I hope you don't feel like I abandoned you and that I chose Tucker. Well, what is he supposed to think? It's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
It's 100%.
I mean, of course you're going to talk. You're going to, try to kiss ass to the HOH.
I thought for a second that Quinn was buying it, and I was like, ugh, but I don't think so.
For me, I want Leah and Mackenzie gone before anybody.
No,
I can't stand them.
100% Angela. See, I just don't mind them. I don't think they're gonna win.
No.
They're just kind of those background characters.
Yeah, they're like dead weight, but they're starting to become obnoxious dead weight. Like, I don't mind you being here as long as you just keep your mouth shut. Nobody wants to hear from either one of you.
I agree with that. I feel like the winner is gonna be either Cam, if he wins when he's on the block, then he'll go far. And if he can stay there, I feel like it's going to be Chelsea or Cam. And I think because I think Quinn would stand a chance too, but he also makes like really bad decisions, and he's going to be someone that everyone's going to try to get out.
Yeah. I feel good about T-Core right now. I think if I had to pick someone, I think T-Core might win.
Yeah, I think that her like mental game is there. I just don't know. There's like a competition that's coming up, and I feel like that one. There's two, and I feel like that's the one where she's gonna go out. There's one where they have to they get a cup that's like the size that's like 4-ounce cup, and they have to fill it with some liquid and then go to the end of this thing and pour it into this huge bowl to get this ball to come up to the top. They take the ball out, put it in the thing, and it's gone. But the floor is at an angle and it's all grease, and I just feel like that's gonna be that. Then there's just less people there. Less people to be aligned with, and if she's somebody I think that people are going to think she's a threat, let's get her out. Yeah, I mean that's how you end up with people like Leah getting to the final two, which I don't think should happen. Leah, Joseph, they shouldn't win. They shouldn't get to the final two.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so Quinn
nominates
Angela, Rubina, and Chemo,
which makes T-Core mad.
Yeah,
which I just am like, he's saying Chemo's a pawn.
Yeah, but I mean, look how it's gone for pawns in this game.
Yeah, but Chemo isn't like. There's a difference between Tucker the pawn and Chemo the pawn.
Yeah, but I think because I think T-Core and Chemo are still in this mindset of we are the visionaries, and I feel like Quinn abandoned that a long time ago and has just been playing them.
They abandoned him.
No, it started with him.
No, because as soon as he told them about the Pentagon, they abandoned him. He said, "I'm with you guys. You're my group. I want to let you know about this thing." And that's when they went to Tucker and shifted everything. I was surprised that the Visionaries were even a thing after that.
Yeah, I feel like Quinn has just jacked it up.
I want to like Chemo. I mean, I feel like for this podcast, I want us to like him, but I don't know that I do. If he would just sing.
Yeah. I like T-Core and Chemo more than I like
the
Quinn.
Chicks, if he would just shut up and sing. Just kidding.
But yeah, I feel like Quinn is digging himself into a hole.
Oh yeah, I think absolutely.
And I think he's screwed.
But I like the enthusiasm of a super fan. I root for the nerdy super fans. There's one guy
he's a little too super villainy for me.
Yeah. That's surprising. It's surprising that you would not like him for that, and that I would be like, that's kind of fun.
I just think I feel like he's a dick.
He does have the villain mustache going on. Well, so that's Big Brother. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
More to come.
Yes.
They got to be coming up on a double elimination week, but also maybe they don't do those until they start getting jury people. I don't know how many people are left in the house. Do you?
I don't, but I did read that with Tucker gone now, when they start eliminating people, they'll be on the jury.
Okay, cool. So we're like a week or two away
so everybody
from
in the house will be on jury.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. So, and more to come. If you're somebody who doesn't mind spoilers, read ahead what happens on Wednesday, because shocking.
All I read was who won the veto. I didn't read they haven't done the replacement, have they?
Yes.
I don't know who it is.
I don't. Do you want me to tell? I don't want to tell our listeners. Do you want me to tell you?
Let's do this because it'll happen by the time the video is out, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I'm gonna say some names and then you say yes or no.
Okay.
So Quinn is there. Is it Joseph? Is it T-Core? Is it
Wait a minute, what are you
Mackenzie?
asking me?
Who the replacement nominee was?
Oh, wait, I just said.
What? You don't understand how this game works.
No.
If I ask you if it's Joseph and you shake your head yes, and then I stop asking you, you might as well have just told everybody it was Joseph.
Oh yeah.
So I was gonna just name everybody.
I see what you're saying.
Until it was time.
Like we don't spoil shit on this show.
Yeah, right. We at least wait until it's time. Anyway, and it's getting good. I'm sure by the end of it, I'm going to be fine. I'm sure once Angela's gone, I'm going to be like, okay, I get it now. I can watch the show again. All right, so we were going to watch a movie called Lie Down with Dogs because we watched a preview for it. It has a surprisingly high rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Does it?
Remember, we looked at it and we're like, oh, it's like a 90-something or an 80-something on Rotten Tomatoes. So we were going to watch called Lie Down with Dogs, and it's about some guy who gets tired of the Manhattan scene. Now, it's a very 80s movie. And so he goes to Provincetown and is like, I need to find a job. And this, like, busty career woman is like, no, you need to be a houseboy, and rips his clothes off and makes him go out to be a houseboy, and he ends up having sex with Provincetown, and
it's available nowhere, so we didn't watch it.
we searched and searched. We searched for longer than the movie probably is trying to find it, and I don't think to anyone's disappointment, we couldn't find it.
I saw a couple of clips on YouTube, and those clips alone made me think, I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
It does not look like a good movie. And if Rotten Tomatoes has it at an 88, it's probably 3 reviews, and it's probably the producer's mom, the director's mom, and the star's mom.
Well, or I think what it's probably like when you think about the time that it came out and what it meant. It's probably one of those that like it had some kind of like meaning, like it was like, hey, and that was like that movie Jeffrey. It's probably not a good movie, but when it came out, it was poignant and it meant something because it had this well-known actor playing a gay character, and it was a big deal. So we couldn't find that, but luckily FX
has a new show.
Did you watch it
I did.
Last night or today?
I watched it today
because it's on Hulu the day after.
Yeah,
but
so it premieres Monday nights on FX, and then the next day the episode is put onto Hulu.
Yeah, so I ended up watching this. Oh, there we go. I have to plug in my laptop before my camera goes out. I ended up watching it because FX is on the Spectrum app, so we watched it live last night, and it premiered with 2 episodes, and they're 30 minutes, and it's on FX. So you guessed it.
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy.
Although this is pretty, it had funny moments.
It did.
It was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I got the sense that this is a comedy, even though it's dealing with some pretty serious subjects. I think the baseline of this show is comedy.
Yeah.
There's no one's waving guns and doing bumps in the kitchen and that kind of stuff. I did write this comment down. Yeah. I was like, is this the gay bear? All right, so this is a show. It stars Brian Jordan Alvarez, also the show's creator. He plays an English teacher at a school in the suburbs of Austin, Texas. So it's not as liberal as, like, say, Austin is. It's the suburbs where it's still a little conservative. And he's a gay English teacher, and it's him navigating his queerness in this school. And apparently everyone's queerness.
Yes.
So Brian Jordan Alvarez, do you remember him from Will and Grace?
Yes, he was Jack's boyfriend, husband in the reboot.
Yes.
Also, I have a little tie to him through like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, because he also did a web series called The Gay and Wondrous Life of Caleb Callow. And I went on several dates with the cinematographer of that show.
Really?
You remember his name is Matt. And when I came back from North Dakota, we dated a little bit. And then he said we couldn't date because I was distracting him from his career. This is the career I distracted him from.
Well, look at that.
So I hope you're doing well out there, Matt, with your little web show. No, I'm sure he moved to LA. I'm sure he's doing great. I saw a couple episodes. It's actually a really good web series. Yeah? And I think Brian Jordan Alvarez is funny. He's humorous. I like him.
It also stars Enrico Colantoni, who plays the principal. And anything this guy is in, I have enjoyed that I've seen. He was in Galaxy Quest.
Yes.
He was the leader of the aliens in that. I think he's hilarious. He was also in a show called Flashpoint, which, of course, it's about like a special ops police team. So, of course, I loved it.
Yeah, he was also on Just Shoot Me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day. The David Spade. I'm sure there were other famous people on it. It was David Spade.
Brooke Shields?
No, Brooke Shields was Suddenly Susan.
Oh, right. Was it the guy? Which one was the guy in that's in Morning Show? Like that was in Lost. The Spanish dude. Was he in Suddenly Susan? Or
Yes,
was
he was in Veronica's closet. Oh, no, maybe he was Suddenly Susan.
What the hell do I know? They're all the same show to me, apparently.
Veronica, I loved Veronica. I'm not a big fan of how Kirstie Alley turned into her later years. She got a little cray-cray. But I loved Veronica's Closet.
I love Fat Actress. Did you watch that?
Yes, that was a good show, too. Yes.
She was on the koi diet. And
yes.
Like she lived in that tiny house with the tiny shoes.
God rest her soul.
Oh, that koi diet. That's some funny shit.
He's an English teacher named Mr. Evan Marquez. And there's only been 2 episodes, but each episode starts with him running late and rushing to class. So I feel like this is going to be a thing where he just doesn't get to class on time.
I don't know if you know me well enough to know this, but you know that bothers the shit out of me.
Yeah, I sure do.
It's not difficult to be on time, buddy. Just show up on time.
Yeah.
You're actually shaping young minds here. Show up on time for them.
Although if he had shown up on time, he wouldn't have an opening for his show. So, worked out for him.
And there's
and I don't know this because I haven't done research in this show, but did you get the impression that a lot of this is improvised?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think because there's a scene where the principal says the wrong word and stops himself and goes back and says the right word.
Yeah.
And so I think I got that impression.
Yeah. So I haven't done enough research to know what the behind the scenes, if that's just kind of the shtick. Because Curb Your Enthusiasm, I read, is that way. Like they're given bullet points of what the scene is, but that they don't write scripts. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen Curb Your Enthusiasm get screenwriter nominations at the Emmys, which is mind-boggling to me if you don't write the script.
Dude, does everybody in the cast get credit then?
I don't know. I'll look into it, but I know that it's been nominated for
that
writing
wouldn't
awards.
surprise me because the Emmys does give out best comedies to dramas.
That is true. That is true. The first episode. They jump right into it.
It's super fast paced, don't you think?
Yeah, it's like very quick, 22 minutes.
That's the thing about judging like the first couple of episodes of a show. It's going to be like 4 weeks from now before I form a real opinion about it because it's just so fast, and you got to get used to it and get used to the characters to kind of get emotionally invested into what's going on.
Yeah. He comes in and finds out that he's being investigated by the school board for kissing his boyfriend in front of a bunch of students, but one particular mother is filing this complaint because her son had to see these 2 homosexuals kiss, and
now he's gay.
And
it's what made me laugh about this whole scenario is like his defense is like, oh, I pecked my boyfriend on the cheek, blah 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 blah. Well, then they do a flashback, and they show it was not a peck on the cheek.
It's a quick little peck on the mouth and then a lips, and then he comes back for a deeper kiss while he gropes his ass, and you see the son just staring.
Yeah, the super gay cheerleading son.
So the principal tells him to take the rest of the day off to kind of to think about it. And he also wants him to put together a statement in response to this investigation that's being open. So he goes and has lunch with his ex-boyfriend. They're not together now, but he used to be a teacher there with him, and that's where the incident happened. And he's like, oh, I want you to come to the hearing with me. And he's like, no, I don't do that no more. I'm not a teacher. So instead they have lunch and then have sex, which, I think as gay men, we've been there before. We've all hung out with our exes and been like, all right, we'll have sex again.
True story.
Where was I? I wrote down a bunch of little quips that they said that made me chuckle when he's talking about getting a new job, and he's like, I need a job that means something and that I hate. I was like, I've been there.
Enjoying your job these days?
I mean, I think sometimes you love your job, you hate your job, but even when you hate it, you want to do something meaningful, which is why he won't get a job. What was his boyfriend kept saying he got a job in the tech industry.
Yeah.
And he's like, you need to get a job in the tech industry. And he's like, no, I'm good. He goes, I want to do something meaningful, even if I hate it.
So as a subplot, so the other thing that's going on here is like the football coach is like this super crass, opposite of woke kind of person who just says what's on his mind and everything like that. And so he goes to David, is that his name? The teacher?
The coach?
No, the star of the show, his character name.
Oh, Evan.
Oh, Evan. So he goes to Evan and he's like, my class wants me to explain to them what non-binary means. And so I want you to come and do that. And he's like, why? And he's like, because you're out and proud. This kind of made me laugh. He goes, I'm not that proud. You ever feel like that sometimes? Like, you know, after 1,000 Pride events in 2 months, and then you're like,
I'm prided out.
I'm not that proud. Kind of made me laugh.
So before that, he meets because he oversees oversees the school's book club, so we meet and they're a bunch of. I mean this lovingly. A bunch of whiny teenagers, and they're all like, you know, super whiny and woke, which is fine.
The dynamic between the two girls, is hilarious. I do appreciate that.
And then, they claimed he was homophobic. Why did they said he was homophobic for something?
Oh, it is. They claim he was homophobic because he says he can't believe that lesbians aren't attracted to men.
That's right.
He's like, because the principal's like, you said that thing about lesbians, and he goes, what? He goes, so I just believe that I don't understand that lesbians aren't attracted to men. And then this was kind of funny then because the principal just stared at him and slowly rolled his window up in his car. He's like, I'm not even touching that.
And we also meet the new physics teacher, who is obviously probably gay, which. I mean, they're not being subtle about setting this up. So just jumping ahead real quick. So the investigation gets dropped. Because Marky, who is the coach, is friends with the mother who is bringing the investigation, and they go to the same country club. So he goes to her at the country club and says, drop the investigation, or I'm going to tell everybody here that your son's gay. And so that's
she's
the last thing she wants.
She's so mortified that her son is gay.
So she drops the investigation. So part of the stipulation in dropping the investigation is Evan has to agree not to date anyone on staff ever again, or he will be fired. And then we see this handsome physics teacher who is flirty with Evan, and you can see it coming a mile away. A blind man could see this coming. He's going to fall for him, and they're going to be like, oh, but we can't date or I'll get fired. But it's an 8-episode season, so we got to fill the other episodes.
Date, and then at the last episode, they're going to get discovered. We can't get caught,
and they're going to be like, we have to be open with it. See, we just wrote the damn show.
Do you think we'll get an Emmy for that? If it wins?
For best live action comedy musical.
Wait, are we at the part where we're talking about how the investigation got dropped and he was yelling at Marky about like you can't fight homophobia with homophobia?
Oh, yes.
And Marky says, whatever, just enjoy the fact that you can go stand behind a bent over dude again.
It's so unprofessional, but he is kind of hilarious. I ain't gonna lie. I was cracking up every time he opened his mouth.
I did write at the end of it. I'm like, am I too old to watch this? Just because like it seems like this. And this is what I'm saying. Like I'm reserving judgment for a couple more episodes to get used to the idea. But it's like this sort of a thing where it's like we're gonna use like young woke culture. And we're gonna show you how there's people on the other side of that, and how everyone's right in some way, and we're gonna use each other's philosophy against the other to prove a point. And it just seems like a show that's got a lot of lessons in it.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I think so. The first episode, I was like, okay, that's good. So then we go into the second episode.
And it's called Powder Puff.
I really started to enjoy it in the second episode.
So it opens, Evan's running late, and he's stopped in the hallway by some football players. Yeah.
Sorry, so he's like walking through, and the football players are like, they throw a football at him. And they're like, Evan, catch. And they throw the football, and he just smacks it away.
Yes.
And that cracked me up. Because, most people's reaction would be to catch it. But he's like, eh.
Yeah, he does that a couple of times in that episode. Every time a football comes at him, he just slaps it down. So for those who aren't familiar with what Powder Puff is, it's that time of the year where the football players dress up as cheerleaders and the cheerleaders dress up as football players, and everybody has a good time laughing at the gender swapping roles. So we find out that the football players are upset because they can't dress up as cheerleaders because someone is upset, and they allude to it that it's the school board who's upset, or the principal, or the parents,
because they don't want boys dressing in drag.
And it turns out that it's the LGBTQIA2 plus club are upset because they feel like they're mocking drag. So that's when he says, when he's talking to the principal, and the principal says this wasn't the parents or the school board, this was the LGBTQ club. And he said, well, why didn't they come to me first to talk about that? And that's when he said, because the club thinks you're homophobic.
Oh, right.
And he's like, why do they think I'm homophobic? And he says, because you said you don't understand how lesbians aren't into men. Just grossly homophobic.
Yeah, completely.
So he goes and he talks to the LGBT. Well, he talks to the book club, which has members of the LGBTQ club in it, and says that as long as the football players are respectful of drag, then they won't have a problem with them dressing up. So Evan's idea is to bring in his one of his old friends who is a drag queen to teach the football players how to do authentic drag. Now, I don't watch Drag Race, but this drag queen looks very familiar.
It's Trixie Mattel.
Trixie Mattel. I thought she looked very familiar. I believe we've talked to her for Watermark. So she comes in and teaches the football players how to be respectable drag queens. And they have a lot of I really like that scene because there's a lot of inquisitive questions that they ask, like interesting questions the football players ask, like are your tits real? And she's like, no, it's like it's a boob bib. And he's like, do they have a bib for your penis? And it's a very interesting back and forth. While the football players are learning how to do drag, the cheerleaders are learning how to play football.
Or are they?
So the lady teacher,
the lady teacher.
The
girls, they said they wanted
Miss Sanders, who's a fellow teacher and Evan's best friend.
Yeah, they wanted to be taught football by a woman instead of by the coach.
Yeah.
And so they bring out this teacher to do that, but she doesn't know anything about
football.
So this is the funny thing about Marky's character, is that he's kind of like, well, I'm going to teach you to teach them how to play football, which turns out to be a hilarious bit, I think.
So Gwen and Marky are out there teaching the girls football, and they end up, because it's going to be flag football, and Gwen is like, I don't understand, why does it have to be flag football? And Marky's like, because we don't want them to get hurt. And she's like, oh, they're not going to get hurt through football. They're going to get hurt by getting raped and murdered in the parking lot. And she goes on this tangent, and they mention because Marky's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And so they mention a podcast for him to listen to, which is basically two women talking about serial killers.
Right. And how and they make references to how when women go to college campuses, they show them where all the buttons are to call the police in case you're walking to your car and somebody tries to rape you and that kind of a thing. And it's like and what they're trying to say is we should be teaching girls survival skills and like tackle football and how to protect yourself, and not this.
Yeah. So he goes home and he listens to some episodes of the podcast, and realizes all this shit that women have to deal with. So he comes back and he goes, forget football. We're going to teach them self-defense. So that's what they do. They teach them how to do self-defense, how to punch with your keys between your fingers.
My favorite part of this whole episode is the whole boom, you're dead thing that teacher kept doing. So she'd be like, oh, hey, I'm going to shake your hand. How you doing? And then she'd like punch him in the throat. Boom, you're dead. So funny.
So good. Let's see where we find Trixie, who is his drag friend. We find out while teaching the football players how to properly do drag, is also stealing from the school.
Yeah, because the teacher was getting in trouble for bringing an outside person in.
Yeah,
and
without
they were
getting permission.
we haven't vetted them. They could be a thief or something. And then he's like, no, it's a friend of mine. He's not a thief.
Yeah,
and then it turns out
I've known him for years.
He's absolutely a thief.
He's absolutely stealing printers, chargers. He's like got like a trunk full of everyone's iPhone chargers, and the principal's like, no one has been able to charge their phone in weeks.
It's so funny because there's this scene before you find out he's stealing things where he finds an iPhone charger. He's like, hey, is this your charger? And he's like, no. And he goes, oh, it wraps it up and puts it in his pocket. And then later on, the principal's like, and no one can find their iPhone chargers.
So he confronts him and he's like, you can't be stealing this shit. And he's like, whatever, ever since you became a teacher, you've joined the man. The school board decides, because he has to go to him and tell him, hey, we're missing iPhone chargers and printers and stuff. My bad. It was that drag queen friend of mine. So the school board says there will be no drag show from the football players. So they decide that they're going to do it anyway. So the boys dressed in drag storm the field, and they do an amazing drag performance, which is hilarious.
Which is supposed to end with a death drop.
Oh, because Trixie is going to do...
Trixie.
Yeah.
But Trixie's been banned from this, so they call Evan up, and they're like, you have to do the death drop, which was hilarious, because he's like, all right, I'm going to do this, and he goes and he does it.
Something cracked.
You hear and then he lays down for a second, and then he jumps up, and he's like, I'm okay. That was pretty funny. Now,
at the end, he does a little more flirting with the new physics professor, whose name is Harry, I believe. New teacher at high school. Yeah, Harry. So you obviously know where that's going. And then as everyone storms the field and they're all happy and excited for the drag performance, you see that Trixie, out of drag, is sitting in the stands with sunglasses and a hoodie on. And he's like, they did it. They did it. I'm so proud of them. And then starts gathering up purses in the stands as no one's paying attention to end the episode. So those are the first two episodes.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it's a funny show. It's very quirky. It gives me kind of Abbott Elementary vibes a little bit. With a little more gay, a lot more gay.
Jen's description when I told her what this is about, she's like, so basically, or maybe Dylan did. He's like, so basically, the gay teacher from Abbott Elementary moved to Austin, and this show's about them. I'm like, yeah, basically.
Basically.
I will say this about it too: as much as every show I watch is a CBS show.
Yeah.
This is an FX show.
Yeah.
Like, there's a formula.
This is definitely FX
Networks
show.
have a formula, and this one definitely fits the FX
but I
formula.
like it. It's 8 episodes. They'll do a new episode every season, so I thought maybe we'll touch base at the end of the season.
Yeah, I check in. What do you give it as far? What do you think Rotten Tomatoes was? Because it does have a Rotten Tomatoes rating.
I don't know. I feel like TV critics love anything FX does, so I'll be like, I'll give it an 89.
94.
Oh, they do like everything FX does.
What do you give? What do you think on a grape scale?
On a grape scale, I'll give it 2 grapes right now. We'll see how the rest of the season goes.
So far, I give it 2.
Solid 2 right now.
Solid 2.
But yeah, looking forward to seeing where the rest of the season goes. It's going to go into my rotation on Wednesdays, because my Wednesday evening's usually free, and the new season of Only Murders in the Building started, and the new episodes drop on Wednesdays. So this and Only Murders are going to be my Wednesday night entertainment.
Is it gay? Anything gay? Anything queer?
I mean, as gay as Martin Short is always acting gay, but nothing super gay yet.
I wish he was part of our team.
I know. I find him adorable.
Yeah, I do too.
Have you watched the first episode yet?
No. The problem is I don't want to wait. I want to watch them all. That's like why I look up Big Brother. So I think I'm going to wait until it's over and watch it all at once.
You know the premise of this season?
I don't.
They want to turn the podcast producers want to turn it into a movie. So this season is going to have Eugene Levy, Zach Galifianakis, and Ava Longoria, who are playing themselves as the ones who have been cast as the Only Murders podcasters.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And I watched the first episode, and it's already hilarious, and I love this show so much.
Yeah, it's a good show. But next week's Suicide Prevention Week, so we're going to talk about Prayers for Bobby, which is a Sigourney Weaver made for TV.
Yeah,
hopefully
Lifetime movie from
it.
2009. It is available on Hulu. Last time I checked.
Okay, cool.
So it is available.
So we'll do that.
It's also uploaded free on YouTube by somebody, so you can watch it there too.
So we're gonna watch that, and Big Brother Week 7 will be next time. The following week will be Big Brother and the Emmys, I assume, because the Emmys are
that's
the 15th.
right. Yes, the Emmys are coming up.
And then we'll have to talk about the week after that because
we'll be going into October soon.
Is messed up that last
so
week.
we're gonna have.
Yeah.
We'll treat it like Disney, not so scary movies for Halloween.
That does not include Smile 2.
We will, maybe I'll tell you about Smile 2. I'll go see it and I'll tell you about it.
You know what? You just talk and I'll interject as if I've seen it.
Oh yeah, that was scary. Yeah, stuff like that. Hey, you can do that. I'm down for that.
All right.
But until then, the cork is back in the bottle.